I've been sitting here for like 5 minutes watching these garden shears bouncing around the border of the screen. It kind of reminds me of like the old DVD screensaver logo or some of the old Windows screensavers, for those of you who are old enough to remember those things. Anyway, as time goes on, I find myself playing more and more Made in Game Maker games, and this one is not 3D, but it did cross my path earlier today, and I did think it looked interesting, so I figured we would open it up and have a look. Um, Let's see. This one is a not. This one was not given to me for free, as some other games have been. I just bought this myself and installed it today, and we're gonna see what this is like. It's been pitched as I believe, a mini golf slash gardening crossover. I believe is how it was originally pitched to me, and I like gardening. I am not that into golf or mini golf. My main interest in golf is usually in seeing how hard I can hit the ball, which tends not to be a winning strategy, but I'm gonna just start playing this, and we're gonna see how long. We're gonna see how much of this I can really get into. So we have some save files. By the way, I tradition dictates that I go into the settings menu and see if I find anything interesting. So, um, stressful announcer. The announcer can be impatient with you. All right, so we got the typical volume controls, full screen, moving backgrounds, colorblind, blackberries. Not a terrible thing to consider if you're making a game that relies on color. Let's start playing. Um, you can retry whole gardens, but not individual levels. Okay. Maybe I should start with casual then. I didn't actually realize that was a separate play option. This one is going to allow me to replay levels, but you can't unlock achievements. All right. Um, if I like this, I'll probably play through it on my own later and do the Steam achievement things. There are, I think, a handful of them, which might not pop out while I'm doing this, but I will get to it later. My phone is going off. Someone is trying to call me. Give me a minute. So we've got a what appeared to be, are these like levels? So Thistles, Dandelions. I can't see what that says behind there, and Virginia Creeper. Let's go with Thistles. That seems to be the only one available. And I think these stages, they look like the shape of like golf stages or something. So let me go and just jump into this. I think and a couple of the like message boxes in this game have done this so far, but I think the like pulsing border while the background fill is staying still so that the border is kind of like misaligned with it. I think that's an interesting effect. I don't know if I like it. But it's interesting. I'll think more about that if I like that, or if I just think that it's distracting. We'll see how the aesthetic of the rest of the game goes. Anyway, trim all of the grasses by left-clicking with your pointer in as few strokes as possible. If I understood what was happening... Alright, so... As I was saying, if I understand what was happening based on like the screenshots and video trailer and stuff on Steam, we're basically going to be like hitting the golf ball, as it were, which is basically the shears, and we're going to have to, I think if I line this up with exactly maybe this section that should bounce upward, we're going to have to, there we go, yeah, alright, I know how this works. We're going to have to take out all of the grasses or the weeds or whatever it is. So this is admittedly not like a really gardening game. This is really mini golf, or like what do you call it? Like a breakout game almost with a gardening theme. But the game was only like $2.50, and I do like to support my fellow game maker developers once in a while. So all right, if I'm understanding this correctly, this is going to be a lot like the second one, and I'm going to have to bank that off there. And all right. It seemed like we were speeding up towards the end. Is there like a mild like force of gravity, or was that my imagination, or was something else happening there? All right. So just by like looking at the shape of these levels, I'm pretty sure I can guess what I'm gonna have to do. They're probably gonna get more complicated later on. I think holes in one are going to become a lot more difficult later on. This is, after all, the beginning of... Okay, it did speed up, but it didn't look like a gravitational impulse. I'm not sure if... Is that like... If you cut a certain number of grasses and like you get a certain amount of score, you'll get like a speed boost or something. It kind of looks like that's what's happening, but I'm not sure exactly what like the numbers are that I'm looking at. All right, let's play this one. So this one's gonna start me out kind of in the middle. Can I like bounce backwards? Okay. Perfectly horizontal maybe obviously wasn't a winning strategy there, but I'm sure if I took that at an angle, I would have been able to I would have been able to like bounce it around a little bit more in the interior. All right, so this one's going to be similar to that, I think. Let's see if I can go this way. Are we going to get... We're not going to get a boost. All right. That one might be a little bit harder to get a hole-in-one. Not sure what the... Ooh, I didn't think I was going to get that. The second win kicked in at the best possible moment. I imagine that there are going to be Steam achievements for doing things like finishing levels in under par or finishing levels with a hole-in-one effectively. That kind of thing. Come on. Almost there. Yes. All right. I didn't think it was gonna. I didn't think that one was gonna do it, but it was. It was feeling generous. All right. So there's a lot more grass here. I feel like I'm gonna have to work for this. All right, bouncing around. It's not bouncing that makes me speed up. I think it's when this number here gets to a certain threshold. All right. So just barely messed up on that corner there. Bounced the wrong way around the corner, but we were able to get there. That is a bogey apparently. I like vaguely know golf terms. So obviously a hole-in-one is exactly what it sounds like. Par kind of has entered the general English lexicon as like your target accomplishment. No. I think 1 under par is birdie, 2 under par is eagle. I don't know if there's a word for 3 under par, and then worse than par if you make a shot in yeah, that one was a birdie apparently. If you make a shot in 1 over par, it's a bogey. If you make a shot in 2 over par, it's a double bogey, and I don't know if they keep going after that. All right, so there was a lot of pinballing around, as I've called it in games in the past. Bouncing off the walls. It's very satisfying when you bounce. So that's one of those, the word game feel gets thrown around a lot. To the point where its meaning has gotten maybe a little bit diluted, but my usual definition for that sort of thing is like, do you really like feel when something impactful happens, like a bounce or when you hit an enemy or something like that? And I think I think bouncing off the walls in this game is certainly a good game feel moment. There's only 18 designs in this first one, so we're actually making our way through these faster than I thought we were going to. I've been recording this for less than 10 minutes, so if yeah, I think I've seen that pattern before. I've only been recording this for a little less than 10 minutes, so I might actually see if I can run through another world after this. Might play on like normal or something. So that's a chili pepper. What's that gonna do? Is that gonna be a speed boost? Yeah, that's gonna be a speed boost. Okay. I was wondering, because I'm sure that there's gonna be additional wrinkles thrown into the trim-in one is what it's called. I'm sure there's going to be additional wrinkles thrown into this to make this missed the bottom one. Additional wrinkles to make this like a little bit more interesting in the later levels. But I wasn't sure if like the first world was just going to be geometry and the second world was going to be like additional mechanics or something like that. I will say I feel like a lot of these earlier ones are kind of repetitive. So this like sideways Tetris L block, like we've seen that here. We've seen that. I guess that was the only one with that exact shape, but like this one, level 2, that was a very similar one that basically rotated 180 degrees. And some of these early levels, like they only take like 30 seconds to get through, but some of them do feel a little bit repetitive at times. Let's see. All right. Is that going to bounce the way I want it to? No, it is not. Okay. I'm sure eventually someone will come up with like a Steam guide to how to get exactly where you want to click to get a hole in one every time or something like that. So here we have, this is the last one in this level. That's going to be a U shape. So I think maybe if I want to... Oh, not what I had in mind. I was hoping to clear out this one up here on the right side. And then, oh, I missed the chili. Alright, that didn't matter because I got the boost. I was hoping to clear out the one on the right side and then, like, bounce over to the chili on the left and be able to do that, but that didn't seem to, that didn't seem to really work out. Maybe if I did it again, I would get it in one, but... Garden scores minus 13, so I believe that's under par, which, again, golf terminology leaking into, like, everyday English vocabulary, that's a good thing. Normally, if you'd say, like, someone's performing under par in, like, school or something, that would be a bad thing. But since, in golf, you want to do things in as few strokes as possible, under par is your target spec, as it were. So let me get out of here, and, can I switch this over? I cannot switch this over to real play. So let me go and try this, and I'm gonna go and just zip through this as fast as possible. I'll see if I'm able to beat my... Yeah! I'll see if I'm able to beat my my minus 13 score. Yeah, I got an achievement for that. I'll see if I'm able to beat my minus 13 score and before moving on to the second world. Let's see. That one was easy enough. Teaching you how to bounce off corners and that sort of thing. This one I think is teaching you to sort of ping pong back and forth, which I did not do very successfully. Oh my god, I can't believe it. I'll see you at the end of this. Hello? Somewhere a mysterious challenge is waiting for you. If I go back to this last one... you must hit the present with every shot. You must do a wall bounce at least once before hitting the present. You don't have to cut the grass, so it's been grayed out. Okay. So if I do like that. I mean, I got all the grass anyway. Did I succeed? Okay, so this one... So there's gonna be a couple more appearing. That one I did not get all the grass, but I did get the present. Oh, I've only got to bounce if it's grayed out is what it meant. That's gonna be awkward. How many of these do I have to do? So that was 5. I got another achievement for that. New skin unlocked. Alright, yeah, a skin for a pair of gardening shears. Well, content is content, I guess. Interesting. I wonder how often those are going to appear, and if there's going to be other types of challenges like that that appear. Alright, I'll be on my way. I just realized, I don't think I pointed this out earlier. I did realize this earlier. I don't know why I said that, but, if you're not familiar with, like, digging around in the file system of a Game Maker game to see if it's a Game Maker game, this waving rainbow text is probably one of the most recognizable hallmarks of Game Maker games, just because scribble is absolutely everywhere. I remember walking around the indie space at MagFest one year, and I saw waving rainbow text, and I asked them, is this a Game Maker game? And they said, this is a Game Maker game. And then I told Juju about it, and he got really embarrassed. Alright, so here we are, the last stage in this world once again. I would like to see if I can do the thing that I thought maybe I could do. No, I missed that one. That's what I was aiming for. Alright, can I get this one? Nope. Well, I did get it, but I didn't go where I... Alright, I probably didn't have to do that. Maybe if I can hit it at a sharper angle. There we go. That was 3. That was not the best. I think I did do better that time. Alright, minus 14 that time. I think I did do better that time than the last one overall. So, I'll do a little more of this. I don't have a ton of time to continue playing today because I've got some things I got to get back to. But we'll maybe go into the first row or so of dandelions here. So this is a banana. What does the banana do? Oh, alright. So that's gonna sort of... That's like a multi-ball if this was like pinball or something like that. Let's see if I go this way, what's going to happen. All right, that's fun. This actually is suddenly reminding me a lot of pinball. Or I guess Breakout, the original game of Breakout did have... I don't know if the original game of Breakout, but versions of Breakout have had mechanics like this, so I shouldn't... I probably shouldn't use pinball as like the most apt comparison here, but that's cool. So I did question a little while ago, like how many different powers we might see, different variations on the main mechanic, and it seems that there's quite a few different like fruits or something that we might see here. So that's going to be another birdie knocking that one out. Let's see. I think I'm gonna say I probably got 4 or so Steam achievements. All right. Trim and 1. I think I got maybe 4 or 5 Steam achievements going through the first world in regular play, and we'll see if I get any more here. Obvious solution is to go like that. I don't know. That didn't really seem to work. If I wanted a hole in one, yeah, that I didn't hit that one very well either. Not sure if there's anywhere else I could have gone. I assume hole in one, trim in one, whatever is possible on all of these stages, even if I just like don't know exactly. I didn't mean to click there. Even if I don't know exactly like where to go, I'm sure it's these aren't big stages and they are like pretty deterministic, so it's probably not hard to figure out by brute force. But what I should have done is I should have hit this thing instead of going for the banana. All right. All right, that was bad. I can't restart, right? Yeah, so in a casual mode, I think it said you can restart a level at any time, but not regular mode. These are really going by quickly. I'll keep playing a little longer. All right. Oh, good. I thought I just missed that one, but we made it through. So I remember that the one of the things that the game put in the options menu for me was something to the effect of like judgmental announcer. And does that mean that like if you do really badly, the announcer will like bully you? I don't know if... All right. I don't know if it's possible to fail these. I don't know if you just take too long and go like 3 over par or something like that, you'll just fail the level. I was could have done better there. Am I actually gonna get the banana? I did. That was actually really close to a trim in one. All right. Got that one. This last one could be a challenge. I gotta get out of here. Can I like... All right, I can grab that one, and yes, okay. Wasn't sure how that was going to bounce around in there, but we got there in the end. All right, I think this one is pretty obvious. No, not quite. Okay, in that case, I'm going to have to, like, get out of here again. Can I go grab that? I can, yes, okay. Perfect. Let's see. Oh, there's multiple bananas in here now, are there? Can I get over to the other one? Yes, alright, there's so many shears. Come on, a little further. Not quite. Alright, that was really close. Albatross is apparently 2 over, I mean, like, beyond eagle. Par is 5, so if that was done in 2, yeah, alright. Birdie would have been 4, eagle would have been 3, albatross is apparently 2. Alright. Moving on. Stage 12. Let's see. That's going to unleash the multi-bounce, or the multi-ball, rather. That's going to unleash another one. Those, like, clipping noises when they come to a stop just sound so sad. Anyway. So, we've got, I guess I might as well just finish this world, because it really is just going fast. And I just barely missed a couple. Nah. All right. I was hoping There we go. I was hoping that that last one was going to get it, and I was going to be able to clean up, but apparently not. Like, the suspense when everything is, like, starting to slow down, like whether or not you'll be able to get the last one. Definitely suspenseful. All right, let's try and can we bounce around in here enough to? Yes. Okay, great. That was a birdie. That one was fun. Bouncing around in enclosed spaces, I feel like, is more fun than in open levels. At least so far. All right, can we? Little farther. Yeah, me too, announcer. All right, that did it. A lot of angles to bounce around in there. All right, so this is going to be 16. We've got the Tetris T block here. Can I just go this way and, like, zip through all of these? I can. All right, trim in one. That was fun. That one was more open, and that one was kind of fun mostly because of the banana mechanic. All right, just missed that. Let's try that again. Let's go down this way, maybe. And if I can grab another one, if it can go a little further. Nope. All right, par 4. So if I get it in 3, that's still pretty good. All right, last one in this world, and I think this will be the last one of the video. We can go bananas, and I wonder how much time went into when the developer was, like, testing and balancing this game. I wonder how much time went into, like, figuring out exactly how fast these clippers should move and how fast they should slow down and stuff. This is actually kind of terrible. All right, this should at least be par. I feel like I could have done that in 2 under pretty easily. I wonder how much time went into, like, figuring out exactly how fast these clippers should move and how, like, exactly what par should be for each level and stuff. Because I feel like there's a lot of fine-tuning that could go into this if you really wanted to tune the challenge. Anyway, there's a new button over these skins. This one was what I got for one of the challenges earlier. I guess we can switch to that. Achievements, this is just going to be my Steam achievements. Apparently, I got 7 out of 20. Not bad. Did I really not get... I know I got a birdie somewhere. Did I really not get credit for that? I got quite a few birdies. I don't know why that didn't pop. I don't know if that's an error or something. We got some stats for, I guess, how I performed, my number of, like, results, I suppose. It doesn't count anything worse than par. And scoreboard. This is going to be oh, I wondered if there was going to be, like, high scores for, like, your Steam friends or something, but it doesn't appear that there is. All right. I think that's pretty much everything. I guess I'll go and look through the credits now. I'm sure that Scribble is going to be in here. Torre Prote Layman. I don't know that one. That's not a name in the Game Maker community I recognize. Voiced by Hans Have. This sounds Dutch. Input by Juju. Scribble by Juju. Grape Soda. Fonts by Yeti. I don't know them either. That's not necessarily a Game Maker thing, then. That's just someone who makes fonts. Kare Norgay, the creator's dad, and Adam Costa from making Switch. Alright, I've seen Adam around. Nobody in the testing and support list I recognize. Alright, definitely recognize Scribble without even having to, like, ask. Input is something that a lot of games do use as well. Alright, so that's Trimjob. I'll have a link to the Steam page down in the description of the video. It's a fun little, like, what would you call it? It's not like a puzzle game, but like a little mini arcade game of sorts. I could see this working well on the phone, honestly. Someone did ask the author if they were going to bring this to phone eventually, and I don't think they said they were planning to, at least not immediately. But maybe someday. I could see this working. I don't like a lot of phone games, but games like this that just have one input tend to do well there. So I'm going to end this off. My name is Michael. I like Wizards and Dragons and making games. If you want to see how games get made, I make a lot of videos on using Game Maker. I also make a lot of videos on actually playing games as well. You should all go check out Wizardox and the Lost Hat, which is one of the games that I like to work on when I'm not doing YouTube stuff. Link to the Steam page can be found down below. I hope you all enjoyed this, and I will see you all later.